What's up, everybody? You are tuned in to the Cris Style
Mal.
Podcast, episode 181, Takeover Wednesdays. Hope everybody's having a good night, whatever you're doing. You're at home, you're at work. We appreciate you tapping in on the live stream. You're listening on the playback. Leave a comment on the comment section. We got a lot of things to get into. We're going to talk about LeBron James and the Lakers relationship. We're going to review a big boxing card this weekend. Give our reviews on the new college football 26 game. Give our top 10 fantasy football tight ends. Of course, Maul's random news. I will be giving you guys a movie review on the new Superman. I watched it yesterday, and I also previewed the all the wrestling cards that's going on this weekend because there's a whole bunch of them. So, before we get into that, Maul, how you feeling, man? How you doing?
Feeling good, brother. Can't complain, man. Ready to do the episode tonight. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I can't complain. You know, I'm like you, brother, ready to talk about these topics.
Man, let's get into it.
All right, man. So you wanted to talk about LeBron and the relationship between them. What's going on with that?
Yeah, man. So Jovan Booyah, he's a pretty much a reporter who's very close to the Lakers. He wrote in or he commented on his podcast, quote saying, I want to be careful with what I say about Bron's relationship with the front office or the organization, but I don't think it's in the best place right now, to be completely honest. As you know, there's been no official statement about LeBron opting in. There typically is, especially for a player of that magnitude. And then he's had his stuff on social media or whatever he's posted. And there was obviously the statement when he opted in. So I don't think things are in the best place they've ever been. I'll just say that. Make of that what you want. Obviously, you know, there's been a lot of conversations about LeBron James and the Lakers after he opted into his, I want to say $52.3 or $53 million contract. That pretty much puts him in his final year heading into the Lakers. He obviously made a statement through his management team, his agent, and pretty much stated that he's going to be pretty much observing what the Lakers do this offseason to see if they're going to, you know, put the Lakers in the best position to, you know, win a championship. If not, he may consider asking for a trade. Like my whole philosophy is on this is, you know, the main question I think everybody's kind of like asking right now with this whole situation is, you know, who's at fault? Who's to blame? Can they repair this relationship, you know, to, get LeBron to, you know, buy in to this program and, you know, finish his career off and do his farewell tour in the Lakers jersey. I think the Lakers would honestly would want that. I think he's in a good position to win a championship. Obviously, there's still some holes I think this Lakers team still needs to fill. Obviously, you know, losing Dorian Finney-Smith. I'm not going to say it was humongous, but it's a hole. You know what I mean? I wasn't really the most fond of the production we were getting for Dorian Finney-Smith on the offense or defensive side. I know a lot of people have been making a lot of big deals about that. Like, I think Vando could fit right in. The only thing with Vando is he just he really can't shoot the three. But I think Vando's probably a better defender than Dorian Finney-Smith. I think Rui Hachimura, he could be too, because I think you can slot him in a three and potentially have him be in the spot where he can potentially be that 3-and-D type of defender. I think Rui can hit a spot up three. He can defend pretty well. He did a lot of great moments in the playoffs when he had to play center, you know, guarding Jokic and stuff like that. You know, obviously it's impossible to guard Jokic. He's always going to get his numbers, but I thought Rui did a great job. So, you know, him, you know, guarding smaller defenders, I think would be even a better advantage for him. As far as like who am I going to blame in this situation, I think both LeBron and the Lakers are 50-50 in this situation and why we're in this particular situation right now. Look, man, there was a situation where, you know, the Lakers, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, they really wanted Russell Westbrook. So for them to get Russell Westbrook, they had to trade some assets, they had to trade some players, and then it ate up a pretty good portion of their cap. They had I know the Lakers, I say they did get cheap with Alex Caruso. I think they should have probably paid him. But at the end of the day, you know what? They made the decisions. So, and then obviously the whole situation with Jeannie Buss and, you know, them holding on to certain front office people for a little bit too long or having certain people be in her ear trying to make decisions on roster and whatever. I don't think that has been a really good thing either. And then LeBron has been kind of contradictory on everything that's going on. Like, you can't opt into a $52, $53 million contract, which you have every right to do, but then complain about and then state that you need them to make significant moves for you to consider for you to stay. Knowing damn well that if you signed that player extension for that 52, 53, it was going to make a hard chance for them to make some big dramatic, swings to try to, better this team. Obviously, we had the mid-level exception. We had the BLE. Obviously, some veteran minimums that we might be able to use. We got lucked up. We lucked up with Luka. We lucked up with DeAndre Ayton getting the buyout. I can't underestimate that, but I think both LeBron and the Lakers need to both look in the mirror. I think we're all heading into a situation where it seems like it should be in divorce, but I think at the same time, LeBron should be able to accept what his role was and why we're in this situation as well. So I don't think LeBron should, put all these demands knowing what the situation is. LeBron's a very smart individual. He knows what's going on. It just seems like he's trying to take a little bit of the heat off for when he does get traded, if he does get traded, or whatever the situation may be. So at the end of the day, man, I just think the situation could get resolved if LeBron just accepts what his involvement was in this whole situation. And hopefully I think they still have a great chance to be competing. Like, even with the whole situation we had last year, we were the number 3 seed. Obviously it didn't go well with the Minnesota Timberwolves, but for what it was only a half season with Luka, who was out of shape and going through a lot of stuff in his head with the whole trade. You could tell emotionally he was going through it. So I think you're going to have a highly motivated Luka. I think you're going to have a highly motivated Austin Reeves coming off that poor performance. And then you're getting a highly motivated DeAndre Ayton who wants to prove some as well. And then he's a 14-10 guy. Like, he has the talent. It's more about the motor for him, but he has all the talent in the world to be one of the top centers in the league. So I think that should spell for LeBron to be motivated to come back to this team. And he has a son there. His son has been performing really well. Obviously, you would like to see Dalton Connect play a little bit better, but I'm loving what Darius Bazley is. I'm praying that the Lakers don't do something stupid and not give that man an opportunity to make this team, because I think he can clearly make this team. I think he can clearly be the second big man on this roster. I know we signed Jackson Hayes, but I like Darius Bazley a whole lot better than Jackson Hayes. No disrespect, but I just think calmer heads need to prevail, and let's go all in and try to win a championship. Who knows how much longer LeBron has, and that's kind of like my whole mindset with that.
What is your prediction? Do you think LeBron James will be on this team when the start of the season happens?
I would say right now I'm probably like a 60-40 that he's on the Lakers team. It just makes more sense for him to be a part of this team more than, I'll raise it to 70-30, because you got Bronny, who's on his team. I think him being involved in the trade, because you would assume that if LeBron's getting traded, Bronny's getting put in the trade too, unless Bronny decides, no, I'm good, I want to stay in LA, I want to stay close to my mom, my sister, I want to be closer to my brother who's in Arizona, it's less than an hour and a half flight to AZ where he's about to be one of the top stars at Arizona for this upcoming year. I'm assuming LeBron wants to be closer to his family. I'm assuming that LeBron wants to be closer to his son, who's in Arizona. I assume that his son enjoys playing for the Lakers. It's more of familiarity with him, and then I don't know what kind of mindset that would put him in, being involved in a trade to now you got to deal with a whole new situation, and then your dad is going to retire. He's not going to be there forever. So then you're going to send your son to be stuck in Cleveland or Dallas, where he may not want to be at. I just don't think that makes logical sense. I think LeBron is just, I think LeBron just wants to be in the news right now. But I think deep down, I think he knows he's going to stay, because honestly, if he really wanted to leave, he could have just not opted in. He could have just been a free agent, and he wouldn't have to worry about a trade. He wouldn't have to worry about different assets coming in and out, because he wants to be in on the championship team. He could have just opted out and decided where he wanted to go on a lower tier contract. You know what I mean? He had that opportunity. He chose not to. You know what I mean? It's just kind of, as I said, it's a contradictory thing that he's kind of doing right now. So I think he ended up saying.
For sure. What team do you think would entice him to leave?
The most I would probably say the Dallas Mavericks, because if you look at the Dallas Mavericks, they're pretty much turning into the Dallas Lakers at this point. You know what I mean? You just signed Phil Handy and Frank Vogel. You got Jason Kidd, who was an old Lakers coach. You got Max Christie. You got Anthony Davis. You got a lot of players and a lot of that coaching staff who used to be a part of the Lakers organization. So it seems like they're trying to get all the Infinity Stones to go up against the Lakers. You know what I mean? That's what it kind of seems like. So obviously, with the talent that they have, if LeBron were to get traded, obviously there will be some pieces that would probably come back, but you would still have a deep enough team with that, with Cooper Flag and Kyrie Irving. You would assume Anthony Davis will still be there. Obviously, the likes of like either a Marvin Bagley or a Daniel Gafford and some other players might be gone, a Klay Thompson, stuff like that. Shout out to Klay. I saw you with Megan Thee Stallion. You look shout out to you, my boy. Anyways, yeah. So I would assume it will probably be most likely the Mavericks who will probably entice him the most. A lot of the Laker beat reporters and some of the national NBA reporters have kind of hinted that they've heard some noise about if he were to potentially ask for a trade or if he were even a free agent, that the Dallas Mavericks have been on one of his top. On his list that were at the top. So I would say if there's anything that's going to happen, I would say it will go down with that team, which will be very interesting, especially everything that happened with the Luka trade and all that. So
Yeah, for sure. All right, we'll see, man. We shall see. It's gonna be a long off season, so
yeah, it's almost August.
yeah. All right, man. Let's talk about college football 26. It For all the people who pre-ordered it, it dropped on Monday for everybody. The people who didn't, they'll probably get it Friday, I think.
Yeah, tomorrow night at I think like 9 or something.
Yeah, so me and you about to pre-order.
Mm-hmm.
So we got it early. We played it. I played it on Monday. You played it on Monday, I assume. Um,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go first and talk about your side of what you played, and then I'll tell you how I feel about what I played.
Absolutely. I would say I was probably more of the online factor. I haven't gotten a chance to play, Dynasty or, Road to Glory, anything like that. I think you majorly played that, so I'll let you rock on that one. As far as the online aspect, obviously, when any sports games come out, the servers are going to be hit or miss. It's going to be glitchy and all that. My main issue right now is the gameplay it doesn't feel as fun as it did last year. It doesn't feel as free flow. It doesn't feel as too arcadey. I feel like they kind of, stiffened up a little bit of everything. You're still getting O-line issues. I'm still getting the outside blitzer coming in unblocked. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing. Your right tackle can be a fucking 95, but you got, me and you kind of talked about, he can be a 78 and homie swimming, looking like, what I mean? He like the second coming of fucking Lawrence Taylor out there and shit. It's kind of insane. Drops, I think, have been a big thing with these receivers, man. Like I'm throwing it right directly in my man's hands, and he's dropping like my man got all the fucking butter on his fingertips. That it's ridiculous. The speed, it feels a little bit slow. Maybe I gotta get used to the game. Maybe it'll feel a little bit faster the more I play. But and then obviously I think defense is cooked right now. I just don't. I think it's a hard time to play defense right now, especially with the cornerback situation. I know they implemented that whole new thing where if the cornerback is not looking at the ball, they're not going to get picks, which is cool. I respect that. I like that. But at the end of the day, there's been a lot of moments when I've played when a lot of people have been getting a lot of cheese online where I'm over here controlling the quarterback. He's damn near scrambling for his life. He throws the ball in the air. I got my man right here. My cornerback, I got two. I got a cornerback in the front. I got a safety in the back, and all of a sudden, his receiver jumps up like he's Manute Bol and shit, like he's 7'9". And then I'm trying to hold the triangle to try to pick the ball off or do anything, and my man don't do anything. I feel like the response, it's like when you try to do something with any of these players, it feels like the response is either delayed or it just doesn't happen. At least for me, that's been kind of like my issues, especially online. I played a little bit of Ultimate Team. Ultimate Team is cool, what you expect. There are some little issues, like obviously, they got some new cards out, but obviously, it takes you like damn near 10 hours to get one fucking card. But at the end of the day, Ultimate Team is Ultimate Team. Like if there's not really much more explanation with that. But as far as with the gameplay, so far I like 25 is way better. 25 is way better for me. I know there's been kind of a split down in the middle with everything, but overall, that's just kind of how I'm currently feeling right now. I'm gonna give it a little bit more game time, especially this weekend. Put some more hours in and get a better feel of it. But right now, I'm kind of unimpressed right now.
All right. Well, I played Road to Glory, and on this version of the college football, they added that you can go through high school and pick your schools that you want to go to. You pick at least 10 schools that you look on the thing, see if it's a scheme fit. You can
Mm-hmm.
see if what where they have you as far as position wise. Are you QB3, QB2, or QB1? It even tell you benched, starter, or second string quarterback. Um, if you pick, let's just say, for example, you pick a 5-star elite player. Instead of them just having, and this is my problem with this uh, gameplay. If you instead of you just letting you play, you know what I'm saying, the game, you know what I'm saying, a regular game, and you've been in high school, you played. Let's say they probably should have just had you play like 4 or 5 games, whatever. Um, they make you do these things where you got to meet these goals. So they have you do 4 sets of different things. So one set could be 2 minute drill. One set could be you scrambling. The next set is throwing down the field. One set is, you have to make a play on the run, like throwing the ball on the run. If you don't meet those requirements in the game, and you could be scoring touchdowns or march your team down the field, if you don't meet those goals, your stars go down. So they make it damn near impossible. And the receivers are terrible. They drop passes, they give up on routes. You'll over for some whatever reason you'll overshot the receiver. He's wide open. So they make it so difficult for you to keep your stars. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if they made that by design, but I think it's stupid because then you're trying to keep your stars, and next thing you know it, you go from a 5-star recruit to a 3-star recruit, and now you got to settle for going to a school, maybe being the second string quarterback, but more than likely you're going to be QB3.
Mm-hmm.
So then you go to the school and you got to sit on the bench and possibly, hopefully, get to get to a QB battle with QB2. Then you got to bide your time and then do it again with QB1. And even that's not easy because you got to do like 3 drills to beat their score. And QB2 is not so bad because the score is not that high. But when you go QB1, the score is high as shit. Like
Mm-hmm.
you damn near like, I think 15,000 for one of the drills.
Yeah.
I think it's like 9,000 for another drill. Like it's like a big ass number. So I just think that they did too much with that. I think that you should have just like bump it. Let him play like 4 games, real games in high school, and let him. If he balls out, he keeps his stars. If he don't, he throw like 2 picks and look bad in the game, then you drop his stars. Like, just keep it simple. Like, I don't think that they. I think they did overkill with the
Yeah.
whole, meeting the goals. Like, even in the gameplay, when you play the game, you they give you some goals that you can meet, but that's like bonus. Like that's not something you have to do. It's just a bonus. Even Madden has that where you can throw for a 5 or 100 yards and throw 100 yard bomb, or what I'm saying, throw 3 first downs or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They have goals that you can meet, but that's not mandatory. Like this in high school is mandatory. And then when you get to now, when you get to your college and you start playing, and then it's cool. But even then, like I told you before, you don't get to control everybody around you. You're just controlling your player. And the wide receivers are pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? Outside of, like you said, they drop passes or whatever. um, it's the running game. It's the offensive line and the running game that get on my damn nerves. The running backs, they the hole is right there, and they want to get to the edge so bad that they'll run right into a pile of defensive end, or if you're running a draw or a lead, instead of hitting the hole to the left is wide open, they run right into the pile, and it's just like, what are you doing? Like, You could have had like a 10, 15-yard run. Instead, you got 2 yards or no game
Yeah.
or loss of that, or 2-yard loss. Like, it's just I don't know. Madden got to fix. I mean, Madden, but college football got to fix some things.
No, yeah, and you know another thing that really irks me. Listen here, you got all these damn jerseys in this motherfucking game, but when you play Road to College Football Playoff, you cannot pick your jersey. You cannot pick a playbook. You can't do any of that. I don't understand for the life of me. People were complaining about that last year, and yet you still did nothing for that mode. You did nothing for that mode, but pretty much reskin the fucking menu. That shit is annoying. To me, it just seems like I understand the whole sense of a copy and paste shit because it seems like it's a copy and paste game. Literally, the graphics look the same. They may look a little bit better, but it pretty much looks the same. Lighting may be a little bit better, but to me, it still looks the fucking same. Like I don't think it's that much of a fucking difference. Obviously, they implemented the coaches that look alike. No one asked for that. No one cares about what the coaches look on the side. No one cares. I'm gonna be honest with you. No one cares. I've heard a lot of great things about Dynasty. I haven't played Dynasty yet, but it seems like the consensus, and as far as like within the college football community, is that Dynasty is one of the few modes right now that is actually worth it. But my God, man, it's just like the experience feels like a worse version than 25. It feels slower. It feels sluggish. Again, the running game is inconsistent. The offensive line is still terrible. Cornerbacks don't cornerback at all right now. You know what I'm saying? It's right now. It's just the responsiveness of this game doesn't feel like it did last year. It just feels even worse. And my whole big thing with sports games is I understand you want people to feel like they're actually playing the game, but honestly, when it becomes too realistic, it becomes too stiff. These games become too stiff and too dependent on animations, and I hate that shit. I think that's one of the main issues that NBA 2K has right now. They got too many fucking animations where you want your player to cross over to the left, but then you get put in this weird ass animation, and then he fumbles the ball or gets stripped or some dumb shit happens. You know what I mean? And I feel like not Madden, but college football is in that state right now, and even parts of Madden. Madden was like that last year. My biggest issue with Madden last year is it felt super slow. I'm like, these are supposed to be top tier athletes. Why does this feel like we're playing like Pop Warner shit? Like this shit is ridiculous. That's how it kind of feels. Like it don't feel like I'm playing with elite talented players when I have it in my hand. It feels slow and it feels sluggish. And I think a lot of these sports developers need to understand that. I think we need to get back to the arcadey style of sports because I think that's when it was the most fun. We had games like Game Day, when we had games like NFL Blitz, old school Madden, old school NBA 2K. Like they felt so good and it felt fun. Remember, these are fucking video games. This don't have to be real life simulators. I understand that's kind of like what you want to do, but leave that for the real life simulators. Let us have fun. At the end of the day, video games should be fun. And if they are fun, people will play it more. And then if you have the in-game shit, people will probably pay for it because they're going to spend a lot of hours playing a fun game. This game, I'm being honest with you right now, it don't feel fun. It feels like more of a fucking chore at this fucking point. And I don't want to do a fucking chore. I want to enjoy myself. The whole point of me playing a fucking video game is so I gotta stop cussing. The whole point of me of playing a video game is so that I can get out of real life activities, man. I want to be able to just come in and enjoy, have a competitive match online, whatever the case may be. I'll win some, I'll lose some. Cool. But at least I'll know if I lost, I lost. Not because some dumbass animation happened and it cost me a game. Or because I try to hit a button so my player can try to get an interception and it's non-responsive. Or I literally mic the guy that's supposed to be for the blitz and then the mic don't even work. So like, you changing offensive line schemes and all that don't work. It just seems like it's a loose situation right now. Like these developers need to get their shit together because at this point, I think the best solution for a lot of these sports games is maybe you need to wait 2 years to releasing them. Just do a roster update because at that point, that's just all this really is. You know what I'm saying? It seems like Madden, obviously, which comes out in a couple weeks, it seems like Madden, they put a lot of love into Madden because I think people are getting super tired, and I think they saw the the love that the college football 25 got. So it seems like what they did is they made college football 26 feel like Madden 25, and now they're going to make Madden 26 feel like college football 25. That's kind of the feeling I'm going to get right now, and I'm guarantee you that's probably what's going to happen because they want Madden to really succeed. I'm sure, obviously, they want college football to succeed, but they coming off a great year, so I think we can take a little L on that one and then focus. I'm just like, bro, EA makes too much money for us to be going through these lows with these games, these ups and downs, these emotional roller coasters. It's crazy and it's annoying. And for you to be charging $150 for early access, $140, man, we want a game that's fun. If you're going to start charging a lot for these games, at least make them fun. Let them be worth it because this real simulator shit ain't popping because y'all don't have the fucking programming to do it. Until you get that, get away from the realness. Like it's just not fun.
Yeah, I agree. They got to fix some things, man, because it's just, and that, like I said, they just need to either scrap the high school thing or just make it to where you just play the game, man. We
I
shouldn't
don't
have to do
understand why
all
they
this.
don't allow you to play the whole high school game. Like that
Yeah,
makes
it's just
no sense.
moments. That's the thing. It's just moments, and I think that's stupid. Like, I don't want to just play moments. Just let me play the game. Like I said, if I ball out, cool. You know what I'm saying? If I don't, can drop my stars. Just like regular football. A scout, yeah, a scout definitely is going to be looking for certain things, but at the same time, they're not going to be like, well, you got to meet this goal. I need you to throw a 50-yard pass down the field for a touchdown. Like,
that's not
no.
real though. That's not real. Because like let's say you're a coordinator. You look at this cat. You want to see how he you know calls protections or IDs blitzes or how he looks rolling out to the right compared to the left. And you'd be like, all right, he may not look good rolling out to the left. He may have a little issues, understanding certain blitzes, but we can help develop him so he could be able to, learn something. I'm like you kind of like, hurting yourself because let's say you throw 300 yards or whatever the case in these little small moments. I don't know how. I haven't played, so I don't know how much time you actually get.
Well,
But
so, like, not to cut you off, but
no, you good.
like you'll start the game and to be like the regular. Well, how many whatever minutes you put your games on? I usually do like 8 minutes or whatever. But they start you off at like 9 minutes, so I think they doing it like as if it's regular time. But you'll start at the 9 minute mark, and then if you're doing 2 minute drills, then of course it's like 2 minute drills. If you're doing like, oh, you gotta make a play to win the game, then it's like a minute and some odd seconds left. It just depends on the scenario.
Yeah, but let's say you're a receiver and you have 150 yards, but just because you didn't hit these little BS marks that they want you, now you're gonna drop me to a third star. My man, I just smoked him for 150 and 3 tuds. Like, what are we talking about? You mad because I ain't scoring the first play? Like, that's crazy. That's insanity. Yeah. That's insanity. That don't feel right.
Yeah, man. So hopefully they can, fix it and whatever. Yeah. Hurry up, Madden. Y'all better get your shit together, man. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
All right, man. There's a big boxing match this weekend. Mm-hmm. Pull this up real quick. Bam. Here we go. So we got a big boxing card this weekend. 4 fights. David Morale, he's returning against Iman the Kahitiv, I think his name is. Then you got Alberto Perello versus Sabril Matias. You got Edgar Belonga versus Hamza Saraz. And then you got Shakur Stevenson versus William Cepeda. I think Perel and Martis is fighting for the super lightweight championship. Stevenson and Cepeda is fighting for the lightweight championship, the WBC lightweight championship, and then Belonga and Shiraz is just fighting, just to fight, to get their rankings up. David Morrell, same thing. How are you feeling about this card? Are you excited? What's your excitement level? All that good stuff.
Obviously, I'm excited about this card. There's a lot of well-known names on this card. David Morrell, Edgar Berlanga, Shakur Stevenson. For obviously for some semi like boxing fans, I'm sure they probably heard about Subriel Matisse and William Zepeda as well. No, I'm excited. Obviously, you know what I mean. I'm excited to see Devin Morrell, obviously coming off that, Benavidez fight where I thought he looked really impressive. Obviously, he didn't win the fight, but I thought he was impressive to say the least. You know what I mean? I haven't personally watched Imam at all, so I don't know what his fighting style is like. I don't know if he puts on a lot of pressure, if he's a boxer, if he's a bruiser or anything like that. I'm not gonna pretend like I know. So I'm excited to see what level of competitiveness he brings to David Morrell. I'm sure that David Morrell, even losing that fight, I'm sure he has a lot of confidence because he did look very, very impressive with Benavidez. And I think if he was a little bit more seasoned, he might have won that fight. You know what I mean? So, shout out to David Morrell. As far as about Subriel Matisse and Alberto Pulo, I think this could be, one of those, a lot of punches happening, a lot of action happening. I could see that. I think this could be a very exciting fight. I'm looking forward to that. Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza. Again, this is another situation where I have not seen Hamza box at all. But, Edgar Berlanga, he has his ups and downs. You know what I mean? I don't know. He could come in overconfident and Hamza surprises, or we can get an impressive Edgar Berlanga showing. You know what I mean? I'm sure he's probably a heavy favorite, but I feel like in that situation where you don't understand the boxer. We seen that with the Tank and Fred, Roach fight, where you may not know who this boxer is, and he might come in surprise. It could be one of them situations. Obviously, the headliner is this Shakur Stevenson Williams Zepeda fight. I think this fight could be really, really great, really, really amazing. I still have Shakur Stevenson being a favorite. He should win. I'm gonna be very curious to see if he has any problems with his hands. He had a little bit of problem with his hands in his last fight. I mean, it's been an occurrence. He's been having issues with that for the last couple of years. So, but I still think Shakur Stevenson should win this fight. It could be very, very competitive. He looked very intense. I saw a video of him kind of staring at William Zepeda while William Zepeda was, doing his open training session to the public and to the media. So, I'm excited, man. I'm always going to be excited to see the evolution of Stevenson. I know he had a couple dull moments, last couple years with some of his fights, but his last showing was really impressive. So I'm hoping he can continue putting a track record with the showing he did in his last fight, and hopefully he does an impressive showing, and we can get a really 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 great fight for him in the future.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm expecting a good fight card tonight. I mean that night. David Morale versus Iman. Uh, but both of them are up and coming fighters. They, one is 10-0. David Morale is 11-1. Iman is a knockout artist, man. He's 10-0, and I think he's got like 9, 10 knockouts or whatever.
Okay.
So this is going to be a definitely competitive fight. But I think David Morale is the athlete that he is and the speed that he possesses. I think he should win this fight pretty handily. I think he's going to beat Iman. I just think he's just a better fighter. I'm with you with Perello and Matisse. I just think that's going to be just straight up bombs away. We all know how Matisse fights. He likes to just throw hands. So I just think these dudes are just going to throw hands at each other, and whoever gets knocked out gets knocked out. I have no idea who's going to win that fight. I've seen Shiraz fight. He's pretty good. He's got a nice little punch to him too. 21, and he's got one draw. But he's got 17 knockouts. So my man, he ain't no slouch of knocking dudes down. So Edgar Berlanga got to bring his A game. He wasn't too oppressive, against Canelo, and he hasn't been too oppressive even before then. That's why I wasn't excited when he faced Canelo. So he's gonna have to put on the show to show that he's one of the better super middleweights. Until then, I have my doubts on Berlanga. And then, of course, Shakur Stevenson and Will Zepeda. That's the fight that, we've all been waiting for. But personally, I think this fight is going to go like when Shakur is against high competition, that's when he shows up. And that's always been my thing with Shakur Stevenson, is that when he's not motivated, he shows it. He does enough just to win. Zepeda, I think he wants to whoop his ass, and I think that's what we're gonna get. I think that's the version of Shakur Stevenson we're gonna get. I think it's gonna be a long night for Zepeda. I personally, I don't see this going by past 6 rounds. That's my personal opinion. I think Shakur Stevenson is about to whoop his ass. So I think he's too slow for Shakur, and I just think Shakur's just gonna go in there and just beat that boy up and demand his fight against Tank. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah. Hey, I agree. I think Shakur Stevenson will win this fight. So, and then hopefully we can get to Tank. You know, obviously Tank got a huge matchup coming up, so he got more to worry about than I think Shakur right now. So
I don't know because some people say that fight ain't set.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've heard that too. So I don't know what's going on with that. I heard it was August, but then I heard it's supposed to be at T-Mobile. Then it's not. Then I heard they're still trying to figure it out. Then I heard that it could potentially be on the Canelo Crawford card. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that fight. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm hearing things that Turk might offer him some money to fight Shakur. And, mm,
No, he need to go ahead and go ahead and answer that Roach call. If he doesn't do the Roach fight, a lot of people are going to be highly critical of Javante,
yeah,
and rightfully so. Rightfully so.
yeah, it's not even boxing record that he's fighting him next.
Mm, yeah, that's interesting.
So we shall see, man. We shall see. All right, man. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we will be back.
Introduce yourself to Magnet, the ultimate sports drink. Are you ready to take your performance to the next level? Do you want a sports drink that eliminates the muscle cramps and fatigue when working out or training? Meet Magnet, the sports drink designed for athletes who refuse to settle for mediocrity. It's power-packed electrolytes and rehydrates and restores balance with their scientifically formulated blend with magnesium that fights fatigue and boosts endurance. It has natural ingredients made with real fruit extracts and no artificial colors or flavors because your body deserves the best. It has delicious flavors like mixed fruit and watermelon that keep you revitalized and ready for action. It will boost your performance with essential vitamins and minerals. Magnet fuels your workouts, helping you crush your goals. Join the Magnet movement whether you're training, competing, or simply staying active. Magnet is your go-to refreshment for peak performance. You can order it now on our direct link at drinkmagnet.com. Also, use promo code Cris Mal to get $5 off your purchase. So don't wait. Again, that promo code is Cris Mal to get $5 off your purchase. Get Magnet, push your limits, fuel your passion.
Let's show. All right, man. So yesterday I went and saw the Superman movie. Now the movie drops on this Thursday night, Friday morning or afternoon, whatever. Um, but all Amazon Prime members had a chance to get tickets for the early access, on Tuesday yesterday. I end up going to a 7 o'clock show over at Santa Fe, right up the street from me. And you listen, we all know that James Gunn has taken over DC, and he has his world that he wants to, start implementing. And I think this is, he's been implementing the little shows and stuff like that that's been on TV. But this is probably his first big blockbuster movie type that he's implementing, since he's took over DC, outside of, the Batman, but that's not even his. That's Matt Reeves' version. So this is his version. He wrote it. He directed it. So if you know anything about James Gunn, he's the one who did Guardians of the Galaxy. And we all know that Guardians of the Galaxy, they have their, there's a lot of comedy in that. You know what I'm saying? They have their moments. Even that third one was real serious and, tugged on the heartstrings a little bit on that one.
That was really good.
Yeah. And is this one has a lot of that in it. You're gonna get that if you like the animated series. If you're a comic book lover, you're gonna like this Superman. If you are still stuck on the Henry Cavill, that's a little bit more, you know, I guess you could say pissed off Superman, then you're not probably not gonna like this Superman. The one thing about this movie is that there's no origin story, so you ain't got to worry about them going all the way back and showing him coming to the like. It's we passed that. Like he's Superman. Like everybody knows who he is. He's there. Metahumans are on this earth. You had the Green Lantern Guy Gardner version. Got Mister Terrific. You got Hawk Girl. Um, Lex Luthor, and the one thing I can't appreciate about this movie is that the villain is a villain. Not, nowadays we have these villains that everybody wants to be sympathetic with. They can understand why he did what he did. No, this is Lex Luthor. Like, I destroy this world just so I can destroy Superman type Lex Luthor. Like, he was like, he's an asshole. Like, I want to see this dude. Like, I want to see Lex Luthor get punched in his face right now because he on some bullshit right now. Like, he's that villain. Yeah, he's bringing that villain back, and I thought he did a good job of conveying that on the film. As far as the guy who plays Superman, um, I thought he did a good job for what for what he was asked to do. Um, he was Clark Kent briefly. Like, they really didn't have him play Clark Kent too much. It was like a brief moment, and then it was just more so he was just Superman most of the movie. They did show a lot of vulnerability with this Superman. Um, because he wasn't like just whooping on fools. He was actually getting his ass kicked a lot in this movie, um, which is cool because you're bigging up the villain that he's fighting a little bit more and making him more of a threat, or making that person, them, all of them, a threat. Um, but there, as far as it's a lot of action. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it kicks off with the action. The dog Crypto. If you're a dog lover, you're gonna love Crypto. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Lois Lane, I thought she played the girl who played Lois Lane. I thought she did a really good job playing Lois Lane. I thought the guy who played Jimmy Olsen did a really good Jimmy Olsen. Even the Perry White, the dude, he's from The Wire. I think his name is Wendell Pierce. I thought he, for the small amount of time he was on the movie, he did a good job being Perry White. Um, as far as like Mr. Terrific, I thought Mr. Terrific kind of stole the show. As far as the Super Friends, or they're called the Justice Gang. That's what they call it in this one. Um, I thought he stole the show. If you know what I'm saying, I wouldn't mind him, like, not a movie but a TV show with him. I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't be mad at it because dude, he was funny, but he wasn't trying to be funny. He was just being a brother. Like, in certain situations, like, you could tell he was irritated as hell. But um, he did a good job. I thought the dude who played Guy Gardner's Green Lantern, I thought he did pretty good at that. Hawk Girl, she was in it. Like, she was cool. She had a few lines, but she wasn't like really important. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe if they do, the next movie, maybe she'll have a bigger role or whatever. But she wasn't really. She didn't have a big role. Um, but I thought the people who played his parents, Martha and I think his name John Kent. I thought they did a good job for what they did. They were older, you know what I'm saying, but they were funny because they were like real country, Midwestern. So they did a pretty good job with playing their role too. I thought, like I said, I thought overall the movie was really good. It was action packed. It wasn't a dull moment. Even in the moments where it was just dialect, it was still interesting. Um, it was funny, like, some of the when he was, his interaction with Lois Lane was pretty funny, at certain spots. Uh, but it was a good movie overall. If I would have rated, I'd probably get 7.5 out of 10, maybe even an 8 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? There are some spots that they probably could fix here and there. Um, probably, there were some things like James Gunn's gonna James Gunn some things up, and it's just like, you don't need to put the comedy in everything. You know what I'm saying? It's not Thor bad. It's not Love and Thunder bad type of comedy where it's just like, all right, bro, you doing too much. But it's some spots where it's just like, all right, you don't need to have a joke right here, man. You don't need to be slapstick right here. But it is a Superman that people have been clamoring for, as far as the Superman that gives you hope. He is because all he wants to do is just help people. That's all he wants to do. He's very humble. He's very down to earth. Superman, but he just wants to do good, and that's it. He's not this, like I said, I love Henry Cavill's Superman, but Man of Steel, he was a little like rough around the edges. Superman,
Mhm.
this ain't it. Like, he's really just uh he's kind of a nerd almost, but still kind of down to earth and cool at the same time. So I suggest you go watch it for yourself. I always tell people watch movies for yourself. You can watch all these movie reviews. Like, look, I watched before I went to go see the movie. One of the guys that I watched, Jeremy Jans, he's a really big time content creator with movie reviews, and he didn't care for the movie, but he doesn't. He's more so he wants a little bit more seriousness in this movie. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand why he wouldn't like it. You know what I'm saying? But I saw some other people on the other side who said this is the best Superman they've ever seen. So I suggest you go watch movies for yourself. Don't be listening to these critics. And also, I want Fox News. Stop talking about superheroes and stuff. Talking about somebody being woke. This movie was far from woke. Y'all mad because James Gunn said the Superman is an immigrant. The man is an immigrant. He's a damn alien from Krypton. If he was real, he'd be an illegal alien because his parents, doctored up his documents. They're all false. ICE would be on his ass. Just saying. So Fox News, y'all tripping with this is super woke. Like, no, it's not. It's far from woke. There ain't not a one woke moment in this movie. So go see the movie. I think it's a good time. Go in it, knowing that it's a superhero movie. And I think, what I'm saying, I think they did a good job with that. And I wouldn't mind seeing this guy, in future movies. James Gunn, do not put Robert Pattinson in this world. You can't. It will mess up everything that Robert Pattinson built up as far as his Batman.
Yeah.
Those two worlds are two different worlds.
Yeah.
Matt Reeves' world is way more serious, is way more darker, all that. This Superman and him on the same screen would not work. They need to just go and get your own Batman. Now, when you do get your Batman, you still got to make Batman. You can't be having Batman cracking jokes and shit. Like, I don't want to see that. I still want to see Batman on the screen, but when you do implement him, I know they're working on a Wonder Woman movie, but I'm just saying you cannot put Robert Pattinson in this world. You just can't. He wouldn't fit whatsoever because this is just way more. It's more lighthearted. You know what I'm saying? It feels like a comic book movie. That's what it feels like. Whatever you know what I'm saying, or the animated series that you used to watch. That's how it feels. So if you're a fan of that type of stuff, then you'll like this movie.
For sure.
All right, man. Let's do our BetUS Surefire picks. What you got, Blake?
All right, man. I got a quick 3. I got the Lynx -6.5 against the Sparks. Y'all already know. I already feel like the Lynx are the best team in the WNBA, so I think they'll cover. I got the Aces +2 over the Mystics. I'm assuming Asia Wilson is not going to be playing in this game. I'm assuming that's why they're not the favorites. But I think the Aces can beat the Mystics even on the road. And then I got the Yankees +1.5 over the Mariners. Yankees won tonight against the Mariners, so I like that. I think they go ahead and double up on that series.
For sure. Hold on. All right. Let me get the Diamondbacks over the Padres. Let me get the Guardians over the White Sox. And let me get the Cubs over the Twins.
So.
If you look at the screen, you'll see the QR code for the BetUS website. First-time users only. Go ahead and scan that. Put your information in. Put the promo code JOIN125. You get 125% signing bonus plus 10% gamblers insurance because they got other things on the website. That means 3 risk free bets on your first 3 deposits on $100 up to $5,000. So if you bet $100 on your first 3 deposit and you lose, you keep your money. So you could keep your money or win some money. Just go over to BetUS, sign up, and tell them Cris Style Mal sent you. And that does it for our BetUS surefire picks. All right, man. Let's talk a little fantasy football, man. Let's give our top 10 fantasy football tight ends.
For sure. You want me to go first, or you want to go first?
You go first.
All right, for sure. I'll start at number 10. Number 10, I got Zach Ertz. I know he had a really solid year last year with the Commanders. I just think with the addition of Deebo Samuel, Brian Robinson should be a little bit healthier. Austin Eckler, he's gonna come back healthy. I just think it's gonna take away some of his targets. So I don't think he's gonna have good of a year. I think he'll still have an impact, but I got him at number 10. Number 9, I got your boy Travis Kelce. I got him at number 9. I think he's hitting in his final legs. I still think he'll be productive. I just don't know how productive he'll be, especially with the likes of Rashee Rice coming back. Xavier Worthy, he's gonna have another year in this offense. Hollywood Brown. I expect more creativity, especially with those guys, especially Rashee Rice coming back. So it could take away some shots away from Travis Kelce, maybe not too much. We all know how much Mahomes loves Kelce, but I got him at 9 for right now. Number 8 could be a surprise. He's had a lot of high hopes since he's been in this league, and he hasn't really come through. But I think if he doesn't pull through this year, I think it's over for him. Kyle Pitts. I think Kyle Pitts could have a legit year. I like with that quarterback situation getting all figured out and all that, playing off of Robinson. I think he could have a solid year this year. Number 7, I got David Njoku. I think that quarterback position is going to look a little bit better than what it was with Deshaun Watson, whether it's with Shedeur Sanders or Joe Flacco. Obviously, you would probably want Shedeur Sanders because I think he's probably the best quarterback in that quarterback room. But he'll get a lot better play, and I think David Njoku is a physical freak. So I think I like that. Number 6, I got Mark Andrews. I think he's going to have a bounce back year. Obviously, coming off that tragic playoff game where he had a couple bad drops that kind of cost him against the Bills. I think Mark Andrews could be highly motivated. I wouldn't be surprised if he even finds his way up into the top 3, depending on how everything goes with that team, because they like to play a lot of 2 tight end sets, and obviously they love their tight ends, especially with them being a running team. So I wouldn't be surprised if Mark Andrews kind of crawls his way up into maybe top 5, top 3. Number 5, I got George Kittle. I think he's gonna have a solid year. Obviously with them losing Deebo Samuel. You know what I mean? They still have some receivers on that team. You still got CMC. George Kittle's still an elite tight end. He's getting a little bit older, but I think he got a solid year. Number 4, Jonnu Smith. I think that combination with him and Aaron Rodgers, I think could be really, really solid. I know the Steelers still have Pat Freiermuth, but I think they're going to focus more on Jonnu Smith. I think he's just a better offensive tight end. And he has more of a catchability rate than I think Pat Freiermuth is. I just think he's a better talent. Number 3, Trey McBride. We all know what Trey McBride. Trey McBride is a solid tight end. With him and Kyler Murray, I think they build a great bond. I think he could be number 3. Number 2, I got Sam Laporta. I think he's going to have a solid bounce back year. He's a hell of a talented tight end. I think he was probably the best tight end a couple years ago. I don't know why he got lost in the sauce last year with the Detroit Lions. I think he could have helped, especially in that playoff loss that they had. But I think he's going to have a really solid year this year. Obviously, you still got to be kind of curious with the whole new offensive coordinator and how they're going to kind of call the plays. And you do have a lot of weapons on that squad, but I think Sam Laporta could have a really great year. And then number 1, you already know who number 1 is. You already know the GOAT tight end, man. The future GOAT of tight end. Nah, you get number 9, my boy. The new GOAT, Brock Bowers, the best tight end in all of the NFL, man. He about to have a hell of a year, because you know what? He actually has a real quarterback to throw him the goddamn ball. So the numbers he put up last year with that trash, what you think he gonna do this year with Geno Smith, who's a better, accurate quarterback? So it's gonna be Brock Bowers, landslide number 1.
For sure. I got my honorable mentions. I'm gonna go, David Njoku, Look, I think David Njoku is a good athlete, but there's still a little bit of just overratedness that I think that we gotta get to a point where it's
He
like,
never had a quarterback. He never had a quarterback.
okay, but
Never had a quarterback.
yeah, saying he had your boy Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield wasn't Baker when he was. He wasn't Tampa Bay Baker. He had that one good year.
His best years was Joe Flacco. Let that sink in. Hunter Henry is another one. I think him and Drake May have a good rapport with each other. So I would say Hunter Henry is in there. What are you shaking your head for? He was top 10 in yards last year.
Stay far away from Hunter Henry, bro.
Another one is rookie Tyler Warren, because I think he's going to get used a lot in the middle.
I like that.
I was going to put Coast and Loveland, but they got way too much. I mean, they got a lot of receivers in Indianapolis. I was going to put Coast and Loveland, but no, I'm not. I'm going to put Isaiah Likely, because I think he's going to have a bounce back year. I think he was good in the beginning, and then he kind of tailored off because I think just Mark Andrews. That's just important. Which goes to my number 10 guy. I'm going Mark Andrews. I think that's just Lamar Jackson's go-to guy. I do think that he's going to be a lot better than he was last year because it took some time to get going because of his injury. So I think he'll be way more healthier. Number 9, I'm going to say Mike Gesicki because I think Mike Gesicki had his best season with Joe Burrow throwing him the football last year. And when T. Higgins was hurt, he was pretty much the number 2 wide receiver after Jamar Chase. So I think that he's probably the third option in this offense when it comes to receiving. So I think Mike Gesicki, he's going to find his foot. There's no coincidence that he signed back with the Bengals. So number 8, I'm going to go Jonnu Smith because he is going to the Steelers. I know Arthur, what's his name? Arthur Smith had him in Tennessee, and that's where he had some good seasons in Tennessee, and then he had his best season probably in Miami. But I still got to see it with him and Aaron Rodgers getting that report. You know how Aaron Rodgers is. You drop one pass, then he might not go to you ever again. So
that's true.
We'll see. Number 7, I'm going to go Travis Kelce at number 7. I think that he'll still get utilized. I think with a healthy Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy in his second year, and we'll see how Hollywood Brown fits in. I think one thing, Travis Kelce will have more opportunities over the middle. You know what I'm saying? Because they will be concentrated on Rice and Xavier Worthy and all the other weapons. That he'll get a little bit more one-on-one, options in the over the middle. He'll be open, and I think he'll get utilized more in the red zone too. So, number 6, I'm gonna go Kyle Pitts. I think him and Michael Penix is going to have a good season together. I think this is the year that Kyle Pitts puts it together. He finally has a quarterback that can get him the football. You know what I'm saying? So I think Kyle Pitts is going to break out at number 6 this year. Number 5, the unsung guy who's been forgotten, but I think that he started coming along because he was injured, but he started coming along, him and Sam Darnold. TJ Hawkinson. And I think JJ McCarthy is going to, rookies. They love tight ends. I think he's going to rely a lot on TJ Hawkinson over the middle. So I think TJ Hawkinson is going to come back this year and remind everybody, hey, man, I'm still a good tight end out here, dog. Number 4, I'm going to go Kittle because we don't know what Brandon Ayuk's going to do. Ricky Bristol, he's got to show that he can take that leap. So, and I think George Kittle is Brock Purdy's number 1 option. I think that's what he's going to. No more Deebo Samuels that he could use like that. So I think George Kittle is probably going to have a big year if he can stay healthy. The thing is the health. But, if he can stay healthy, I think George Kittle is going to have another monster year. Mm-hmm. Number 3, I'm going to go Sam Laporta because I got to see what this offensive coordinator is going to do. He's got this ain't Ben Johnson no more. I forgot who the new offensive coordinator is. But we got to see how he utilizes his tight ends in his offense. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty for sure the offensive coordinator they pick, it has a bit of Ben Johnson scheme or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure they're going to implement their own stuff and how they like to call plays. So I still got to see it, but I'm still going to put Sam Laporta at 3. Number 2, I'm going to go Trey McBride. The only thing that was missing in Trey McBride's game was a touchdown.
Yeah.
It wasn't his fault. My man was second in the league in receptions and yards for tight ends. So it's not like the dude wasn't getting open. It's just for whatever reason they were not hitting him in the red zone. And then of course, whatever.
No. Go ahead, say his name. Say his name. Say his name. I can't hear you. What'd you say? I can't hear you. People couldn't hear you.
Oh, Geno Smith misses him all the time. Pisses you off every time.
Hell nah, man. Hell nah. Brock Bowers about to have an elite year, bro. He went
wide open, and my man Geno just overshots him.
Geno is an accurate quarterback. That's not happening, bro. Geno gonna fall in love with Brock.
That is, man. He throw the wide receivers, man.
Nah, he gonna throw to this. He throwing it to this tight end because we ain't got no receivers like that besides Jacoby Myers and some rookies that we got. We still got to see if they can produce. So
yeah, for sure. So yeah, those are our top 10 tight ends coming.
I think another name that you could look out as Cade Otton for Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
I think he can have a solid year. The only reason why I didn't put him in my top 10 is because they have like a fucking boatload of receivers. So he could get lost in the sauce, but he could occasionally have a breakout game. And Cole Kmet too. Yeah. Cole Kmet with Ben Johnson, K. I know they got a lot of players there too, but I think Cole Kmet could have a quiet, solid year as well. You know what I mean? I think they'll use him.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. It's time for Mal's Random News. It is now time for Mal's Random News.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Random News, man. Everybody loves this part. Chris loves it. Look at that smile on my man's face. He loves this stuff because we love on Random News to hear his side and get some of his feels with some of these stories, man. Some of these random stories, man. So are you ready, sir, for this week's rendition of Random News?
Let's get it.
All right, man. Let's go. Earlier reports came out earlier today. Adam Schefter reported that Buccaneers All-Pro left tackle Tristan Wirfs recently underwent arthroscopic surgery on his right knee. He will likely miss the opening part of the regular season on the physical unable to perform list. How do you think this affects the Bucs start heading into the season?
I got heard him. Tristan Wirfs is one of the better left tackles in this league. So hopefully their backup is good. You know what I'm saying?
Does this change your kind of perception on where they're going to fall in the as far as like within their division? Do you think this obviously closes the makes it maybe obviously tougher, but could you see another team superseding them of being the favorites with this injury?
I mean, unless Atlanta. And you know, I like Mike. We both like Michael Penix. You know what I'm saying? But it's the defensive side. Can they find a pass rusher? You know what I'm saying? They got young pass rushers over there with the two kids, James Pierce Jr. and I forgot the other guy they drafted. But they got two young pass rushers over there. So we got to see. We got to see how that looks. If they can challenge it, that's the one team that can challenge it. The Saints are trash. We all know that. Yeah, Carolina has a possibility. Huh?
That's my sleeper.
Yeah, Carolina has a possibility too, but I got to see their pass rush too. So if neither one of those teams can get pressure, it's not going to matter. But I think the coaching staff over there with the Buccaneers, I think they're still good. I think they'll figure out ways to get the ball out quick from Baker Mayfield's hands, and they got like a shitload of wide receivers, and Bucky Irvin's going to be a monster this year. So I still think the Buccaneers should still be the favorite to win that division.
For sure. Shout out to Tristan Wirfs, speedy recovery, my best.
Yeah, for sure.
See you soon. Next up, got a little bit of wrestling. JBL names his top picks for who who should be John Cena's final opponent. His three are Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, and The Rock. Do you agree with this list? And if not, who do you think John Cena's final opponent should be before he retires?
JBL's got a little bit of veteran old, biasness. Nobody want to see him and Brock Lesnar again. Don't nobody want to see him and The Rock again. I'm sorry. I just don't. And The Rock don't care enough. If he ain't gonna do nothing with Roman Reigns, then why is he gonna do something with John Cena?
Yeah.
I think that John Cena should put over a young guy, up and coming, or a guy that's like right there at the cusp, like a Braun Breaker, or maybe there's a dude in NXT that I'll talk about later, Obi Femi, and once he gets to the main roster, he's gonna be a flipping star. Somebody like that, like a guy who's just like he's right there, and if John Cena could just give him a little bit of, because I think Cody's gonna eventually end up being the guy who dethrones him, and possibly that will be when Cody take makes his heel turn. But I don't want to see him. I've seen him in Roman. Like I don't want to see him in Roman. Maybe it'd be different because Roman will be the face and John Cena will be a heel. So maybe that'd be a little interesting, but I don't want to see that. Because I mean, he faced Randy already. He faced CM Punk just, not too long ago. So I'd rather it be a young guy, maybe like I said, a Braun Breaker or somebody like that. Just put him over the top for 2026 because December is his last match, and just like that will propel that guy to, the next level of being the guy. I beat John Cena in his last match, and he could always use that. So
For sure. For sure. Next up, Dan Raphael has stated that per sources in the last minute deal, Jim Lampley will be back for the blow by blow for this Saturday's card with Shakur Stevenson and all that. Obviously, we all hold Jim Lampley to high regard. Obviously, with the addition of Max Kellerman being back with Canelo, could you think we could possibly see maybe a return of the team coming back? Maybe even an HBO thing. What are your thoughts with this whole situation?
I don't know if they'll do it for the Terrence Crawford and Canelo card because they just added I forgot the guy's name. They added some new guy who's been covering boxing for a while. They added him to the team, and him and Max were pretty much covering. They had pretty good chemistry. I wouldn't be surprised if they want a little bit more of a younger. I know Max is like super young, but he don't look old. You know what I'm saying? Like Max has been around for a while, but Max is young enough to, appeal to the younger crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they just want, I respect Jim Lampley. I didn't always agree with some of his boxing, especially when the fight was going on. I didn't always agree with him, but I think that they'll just do like, what they're doing with him this week. You know what I'm saying? Like little stuff like that, but I don't think he'll be a part of the card unless, maybe if they do bring back HBO boxing on HBO, maybe so, but
for sure. All right, man. Next up, WNBA. Obviously, they announced Caitlin Clark and Nafisa Collier as the starting captains for this year's All-Star game that's going to be in Indianapolis on July 19th. Well, the ladies, they picked their squads. I'm going to read the teams, and you tell me who you think is going to win on July 19th. For Team Collier, she drafted Brianna Stewart, Alicia Gray, Enike Ogumake, Paige Beckers, Courtney Williams, Skylar Diggins, Angel Reese, Kelsey Plum, and Ryan Howard. For Team Clark, we got Aaliyah Boston, Sabrina Ionescu, Asia Wilson, who unfortunately got hurt, so we got to see if she's going to play, Satu Sabali, Kelsey Mitchell, Gabby Williams, Sonny Citron, Kiki Irfan, Jackie Young, and Kyla Thornton. Between those both teams, who do you have being the favorites going in to the All-Star game July 19th?
Caitlin Clark squad.
Is there a reason why?
I just think that they
he looked so annoyed when you said that shit.
No, I did think they got the better teams. I think they got I think she has a better team. Yeah. I think it's gonna be a competitive game. It's still gonna be interesting, but I think I like what's the name's bench better. How about that? I like the bench better. I like the reserves better. On that
I feel you. I think the Asia Wilson injury could be a huge factor in that. If Asia doesn't play, I like Team Collier, but as currently constructed, if every lady plays, I do like Caitlin Clark's team.
I do like that matchup against Nafisa and Asia. I would like to see.
Yeah, I would like to see that. That would be dope. It would be dope. It would be good to see. Next up, Deion Sanders made a statement, says he wishes college football had a salary cap similar to what the NFL has. All you got to do is look at the college quote. He said, all you got to do is look at the college football playoff and see what those teams spent, and you'll understand darn well why they're in the playoffs. Do you agree or disagree with Coach Sanders?
I don't know about a salary cap, but I do think that there should be a cap on the transfer portal. That's why I think they need to cap it. This the transfer portal, and it will eliminate some of these guys trying to make demands. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? If you transfer once, then unless you injured, you can't just be transferring. If you transfer once, okay, you can play. But if you transfer again, you got to sit, just like the old rules. I think that's how it should be. Like I just think there's just too much. Like these dudes getting way too old. They be 26 on they 15 because they trying to get their draft stock up. And it's just like, nah, bro.
Do you think they should go into like a contract situation? Like these players get these NIL deals, they're gonna have to sign a contract like an NFL player, like a NBA player or whatever. And then if you want to get out of it, you're gonna either have to be released, or I don't know if they would do a trading system. Obviously, that would be a little weird as far as like college and stuff like that. But it's becoming more professional. Maybe they can figure something out like that. That you think they should go in a route like that?
I don't know about a trading system, but I just think that if you ask out of your contract, you got to sit a year.
And
You
get
got
and
to
give and
sit.
give whatever money back.
Yep, you got to get that money back, and you got to sit a year. Whatever left on the deal, you can't.
Yeah,
Whatever,
you can't get that. Yeah.
and there may be a cap. Maybe like you got if it's like up to like 6 games, then okay, you get this. But if it's like you 2 games in, you like, man, nah, I'm good.
I agree. Next up, Netflix says that 50% of all their worldwide users now watch anime. 150 million households, anime viewership has tripled in 5 years. 80 to 90% watch dub. Are you surprised by these numbers? And do you think the popularity of anime is at its peak, or do you think the popularity could get even higher?
No, I think it's at its peak because now it's becoming the cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
When we was growing up, you was looked at as weirdo if you watch anime. You know what I'm saying? Whereas now you see all ages, everybody watches anime now. Some sort, some portion, whatever your poison is or what you like. I like anime. I know you like anime.
Yeah, no, I do. I like anime.
So,
I do.
and I'm gonna be real with you. Some of them anime be better than some of the regular shit. So yeah, man, I think it's at its peak right now with all the Comic Cons and Anime Con and all these little conventions that they have coming out with people cosplaying. Cosplay is like at an all-time high. Shout out to all the ladies out there doing that cosplay. But you know what I'm saying?
Freaks too. I ain't gonna cut.
But yeah, it's at an all-time high. But I think it's at its peak right now.
Let me ask you, for anybody who is watching this who may want to get into anime, give us your top 3 anime shows you would recommend anybody to get into anime that you think that would help them gain interest.
I mean, if you're gonna go, you could go with the classics, Cowboy Bebop. I think Full Metal Alchemist is probably one of my Brotherhood. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is probably one of my favorite animes because there's no dull moment, there's no filler episodes where I'm saying you gotta wait 3 episodes to get to the shits. Like, no, it's every episode is I'm saying, some shit. So I would say Full Metal Alchemist, of course, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, of course you gotta put those in there. Bleach is another one. If for the newer ones, I would probably say Demon Slayer, Chainsaw Man, One Punch, just to name a few. Yeah,
for sure. All right, next up, some reports have come out that the NFL and NFLPA quietly agreed to a confidentiality deal that hid the outcome of a collusion grievance, which found the league urging owners to limit guaranteed money after the Deshaun Watson deal. Players weren't told, and is sparking a major backlash inside the union. What is your thoughts with this whole situation? How do you think this will play out?
DeMar Smith should be fired. I've always said that he is a terrible president for the NFLPA, and I don't know why that man keeps getting a new deal from these players. He is terrible. At least Gene Upshaw did something. I don't know what DeMar. You can't name me one thing DeMar Smith has done right by these players, except collect checks and sit next to Roger Goodell and smile. I think he is horrible, and they need to get rid of him, and they need to find somebody else who can be on top. The NFLPA is not going to be good And I've said this before, until the top players come together and really put that. That's why the NBA PA is so good, because the top players run the PA. And until like a Patrick Mahomes, a Joe Burrows, a Josh Allen, and a Lamar Jackson come together and say, hey, man, this shit ain't right. We all should be getting paid. We all should be getting these amenities. We all should be getting this. We put our bodies on the line way more than anybody else. Our careers are short just like that. So until they come together, it's gonna be like this.
How much damage do you think this has done with within the NFLPA?
I mean, it's bad because you did a behind the back deal. Why would you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you trying to you supposed to be helping us? And now you and that lets me know that they gave him some money.
Yeah.
Hey man, we'll kick you a little extra if you do this for us. Oh, okay. So he's shady. Get him up out of there and put somebody else up in there that's for the players who ain't gonna take no shit from the NFL.
And then one last question on this: do you think with the next collective bargaining agreement, do you think this heightens the possibility that the NFL players will strike?
I don't know. I really don't know, because like I said, it's gonna have to take it's gonna take some players being like, bump it. At least if they got to put a pot together and say, hey, look, I know you the dude on the bench and you need this job. Hey man, we got you. We're gonna take care of you. We got you. Don't worry about it. We got a little pot over here. Give you a little check just to hold you over to pay your bills and shit like that. Because that's what they supposed to do. That's the NFLPA is supposed to take care of you if shit like this happens. Mm-hmm. We're a part of a union. Yeah. If something that happened at our job, they're supposed to help us out.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
So they got, if they can do that, because at the end of the day, these dudes are dealing with thousands and millions of dollars, and unfortunately, some guys got these vices that they got, gambling problems, alcohol problems, women problems, and child support and all that stuff. So they're not gonna do it because it's like, dog, I need that game check because I got to pay these bills. So.
Yeah. I think this is going to be one of the more interesting stories for the next couple of years, and how this progresses as far as like the relationships within the NFLPA, the trust levels within the NFLPA and NFL with players and management and ownership. I think this could get real ugly. I'm not sure when the next collective bargaining agreement is, but should be interesting.
Like 3 or 4 years, something like that.
Well, we'll see what happens when that comes up. Next up, starting July 15th, YouTube will only pay creators who use their real voice and produce original content. The following will not be eligible for monetization: reuse or repurpose videos, copy content, low effort uploads, and fully AI generated videos. But I guess it came up that YouTube won't be introducing any major changes on July 15th. However, the platform will be strengthening its policies going forward. So it seems like it's going to head in that direction, just may not happen July 15th. But overall, what is your opinion with this change from YouTube? Obviously, we see a lot of videos of people repurposing highlights and old TV shows and doing 24-hour streams with just that replaying. Do you think this is a great sign, bad sign? Do you think YouTube should do it, not do it? What's your thoughts?
It's gonna be bad for the content creator who does movie trailer reviews and things of that nature, music reviews and stuff like that, because they use content that's not theirs that they're listening to. And there's big money in that. Mm-hmm. A lot of these content creators get big money of sitting around, people actually sitting. Why? I ain't gonna lie, I sit and watching some of these guys. They react to certain songs and movie trailers and shit like that. But that's big business nowadays. If you can build guys are building their platforms off of that, men and women. So it might be bad for them. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully that doesn't affect them too much, but that can hurt them.
Yeah, no, for real. Next up, Ben McLemore. Obviously, he was convicted of, I think, a sexual assault Certain people have said that he's still innocent, that certain situations within the case, didn't really help prove anything. But he did get sentenced to 8 years in prison for raping a drunk woman at a party. What is your thoughts about this whole overall situation and him getting sentenced to 8 years?
I don't know all the details in this, so all I can say is if he's guilty, then he should deserve this. He deserved what he got. And if it's if he's innocent, hopefully the truth comes out to where he can get out. But if he did what he did, then he deserves to go in there, and he deserves to get everything that's coming to him.
Yeah. Hopefully the proper justice is served, and hopefully the truth comes out. Whether either way. Next up, man, Dallas Turner was scammed out of $240,000 by convincing him to wire money, claiming they were J.P. Morgan Chase. Turner only makes $800K after taxes this year. So far, about 1% of the money has been recovered. What is your thoughts about this situation of him getting scammed out of his money?
Happens to the best of us, dog. Prayers to you, man. I hope you get all your money back. I've been scammed before. I've lost money that way, and man, I've never lost that type of money. But I hope you get your money back, brother.
Yeah, man, for real. That sucks, man. That sucks to be violated like that, man. So hopefully you get your money back. I know some people are clowning on him, but I don't think that's a funny matter, man. I think that's a serious situation, man. It's not funny at all.
You laughing, but dog, you've been scammed before. You've had you didn't enter your number in something that you thought it was serious, you know what I'm saying? And next thing you know, all your shit gone.
Yeah, hopefully he gets it all recovered. Yeah. Couple more. Next up, it seems like college leaders will decide in the next couple of days whether they're going to expand the NCAA basketball tournament. What are your thoughts? Do you think they should, or do you think they should
not? Stop expanding, man. Why? So Tennessee Chattanooga can get in the damn tournament and lose? Give a damn about that.
Oh my god. Yeah, man. Hopefully, I don't think they need to expand.
This is the problem with sports nowadays. Everybody want a participation award.
Yeah.
That's all they want. They want to say, I was in the tournament. My team deserves to be in the tournament. How about you win some games, man?
Strengthen your schedule. You know what I mean? Yeah, something. I agree with
you. And football. I'm tired. I'm sick of y'all expanding the damn tournament and football and shit because you mad because you didn't make it, dog. Win the games. Simple.
I totally agree. All right, man. Next up, man. Fox Sports released their top 10 quarterback seasons of all time.
Okay.
At number 10, they got Lamar Jackson's 2019 season. Number 9, they got Jalen Hurts' 2022 season. Number 8, they got Aaron Rodgers' 2011 season. Number 7, they got Kurt Warner's 1999 season. Number 6 is Tom Brady's 2021 season. Number 5, Drew Brees' 2011 season. Number 4, they got Dan Marino's 1984 season. Number 3 is Patrick Mahomes' 2018 season. Number 2 is Peyton Manning's 2013 season. And then number 1 is Tom Brady's 2007 season. What are your thoughts with your list? Do you agree, or would you put somebody else in a different spot?
No, I probably would choose the 2020 Patrick Mahomes season, but I get it.
Oh, we know why. We know why, bro. We know why.
Why?
Because that's your boy.
No, I'm just saying I would switch out the season that they picked for him and switch out for the 2022 season.
I got you.
He had more yards and all that stuff. You know
For sure. I ain't mad at that. Next up, with reports, man, they said $100,000 salary in January 2020 has the same buying power as $124,000 in April of 2025, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Quote, the dollar lost 25% value in 5 years. What is your thoughts with this, and how worried should people be with this trend right now?
It's not looking good, people. The dollar is losing value more and more and more. That's all I'm gonna say. Protect yourself at all times. Get ready.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's Save up your money while you can, man. Just save up your money. Try to stack up as much
Your
as
boy
possible.
your boy in the White House is wilding too.
Yeah, and it hasn't even been a year yet. We just hit the 6 month mark, so we got a long way to go, man. I'm burnt out already. Two more. NBA 2K. They announced their cover athletes. You got
Shout out to Angel Race.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Angel Reese, and Carmelo Anthony are your 3 cover athletes for NBA 2K26. Some people are highly upset, especially with the Angel Reese not having to be Caitlin Clark. What are your thoughts with these players announced? And did they get it right? Do you agree with some people that it should have been Caitlin Clark, not Angel Reese? What are your thoughts?
Shout out to Shea Gill. He's the MVP. He just won a championship. He deserves to be on the cover. I still think Angel Reese should be on there because she is a superstar. And we talked about it earlier. She been balling, man. She averaged 19 points a game, man.
Mm-hmm.
She's on the All-Star. Yeah, she's a reserve, but she's on the All-Star team. Mm-hmm. So, look, I get it. Caitlin Clark is the more popular one right now, and people want to put, but that don't mean that. Look, it don't mean that the Jim Bob Joe in Alabama is gonna buy the game now because Caitlin Clark is on it. He ain't playing the WNBA side. He's playing the NBA side.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Shut up. It's not gonna make y'all go out there and buy that game even more. You buying it because Shea Gill is on the front, and then furthermore, you buying it regardless. Because if you're an NBA 2K fan, he could just say NBA 2K on the front. You gonna buy it.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's
it's
true.
Mad for no reason.
Can have Cisco on the front cover. They still gonna buy that shit. They still gonna buy it. I agree. Hopefully they fix the gameplay. That's all I gotta say. And last but not least, Record Park Street Ball is now officially an NBA and NCAA sanction per Nathaniel Cook, the Park Strategic Partnership League. Starting this summer, the NBA and NCAA players can be rostered on Rucker Park men's pro-am teams during their off season. A lot of people seem excited about this. Like Rucker Park has a lot of historical value with the NBA. Obviously, we've seen big performances from Kobe, AI, Stephon Marbury, Kevin Durant, Cooper Flag. What do you think this means for basketball NBA, for NBA and the NCAA to be partnered with Rucker Park?
Bring back the essence of street ball, baby. With the NBA, you know what I'm saying? That's how you knew you could play, man. You get out there on that court and play with the best of the best. And I'm not talking about just NBA guys. I'm talking about dudes from the street who probably could be in the NBA. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about with the jump, hops, dunk on you, shooting all over you, handles. Like, you looking at him like, dog, why you ain't in the league?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Hopefully they put it on TV.
No, I think it'll be definitely on TV, especially on NBA TV. But we can get some sick matchups in these Rucker Park pro-ams, man. We can get some top flight NCAA college kids who are projected to be top, number one picks, go up against some top NBA talented athletes to see improve themselves. You know what I mean? It could be a really good look for, some of these talent evaluators going into the draft or whatever the case may be. I think it's a dope thing. Obviously I think the Rucker Park is synonymous for basketball. It's one of the meccas for all of basketball, street ball parks all over the world. You know what I mean? It's had some great memorable moments, from and1 mixtapes to, the lockout year with the NBA, when they had, LeBron James pulled up, Kevin Durant pulled up, Steph Curry, all these guys, the infamous moments with AI, Skip to My Lou, Stephon Marbury, Steve Francis, Kobe, like the list can go on and on and on, man. I said Cooper Flag was out there not too long ago. He put on a great show. So, hey, man, I'm happy for it. I'm glad Rucker Park is, finally partnered and they're going to do probably some really, really dope things heading into the future, man. So I'm really happy about that, man. So, but that's it for this week's edition of Random News, man.
All right, for sure, brother. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and do a little preview of this weekend. There's a lot of wrestling this weekend. And so I just wanted to go over some of these cards that's happening this week. Let's see. So starting on 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, our time, WWE or NXT, the Great American Bash will be happening. We get uh, so we get Javon Evans versus Jasper Troy. Jasper Troy, he just signed with NXT from that reality show called I think it's called LFG, where they had teams. There was wrestlers under Booker T, Bubba Ray, Undertaker, and they were trying to fight for a contract to be on one of the shows. So I think he ended up winning, and he's on NXT right now. So him and Javon Evans have been beefing a little bit, and I think that should be a good match. I wouldn't be surprised if Javon Evans wins because he's a fan favorite, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jasper Troy wins too because when he came in, he was already in the world champ or the NXT championship match with Obi Femi. So I wouldn't be surprised if either one wins. Then you have Trick Williams, Joe Hendry, and Mike Santana for the TNA title. We all know, TNA has signed, they are in a partnership with the WWE. So Trick went to TNA, won the title over there, beat Joe Hendry, and got the title. So him and Mike Santana, Trick, and Mike Santana had a match, but I think something happened to where it was outside interference or some stuff happened. So they're all three in the triple threat. I actually think Mike Santana is going to win this. I think TNA wants to put the belt on him, and then I think eventually we'll get Joe Hendry versus Mike Santana in a singles match. And then you got the tag team match. You got Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe, formerly of Mariah May. She was in AEW. She ended up being the AEW champion, but she ended up leaving and coming over to NXT. And she will be partnered up with Jordan Grace. I don't know who's going to win this match, but I wouldn't be surprised if I think Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe are going to win it just because Blake Monroe, she's the new hot commodity. So I could see them winning, those two winning the match. And then you got for the NXT North American Championship for the men, Falls Count Anywhere match with Ricky Saint and Ethan Page. Both of these guys are formerly AEW superstars, so they both come over. They've had a pretty good beef against each other. I think Ricky Saints is going to win, and I think Ethan Page will end up moving up to WWE, and I will explain that later. Then you have Sol Ruka versus Izzy Dane for the women's in the North American Championship. I wouldn't be surprised if Izzy Dane wins this match. And I think her Sol Ruka's friend Zarya is going to cost her the match, and that will build for that feud. So I think Izzy Dane, I wouldn't be surprised she win that match. And then you have the main event. You have Obi Femi versus Yoshiki Inamura. That's going to be a match. I think Obi Femi is going to win this match. I think they just try to get him in there with it. I think he's from New Japan, but I think they just want to get him, in there with a New Japan superstar. So, but I think Obi Femi wins that match. All right, now let's go to the next card. I forgot. Matter of fact, I ain't even got it on here. That's what I'll do because they didn't have the card fully. So later on that night, Saturday night main event for WWE. They got 3 matches on that night. You'll get Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. I think that nobody's gonna win this match because I think they want to continue this feud up into SummerSlam. So I could see a disqualification or something happening to where they end up continuing this feud on to SummerSlam because Drew McIntyre usually he continues to have feuds with the guys that he first gets in there with. So, and him and Randy Orton, I don't think they've had a program in a while. So, I think that would be a good feud for both of them. Then you have Seth Rollins versus LA Knight. Um, Seth Rollins is the money in the bank. He has the briefcase. LA Knight, I think they're trying to push him as the next superstar to be on Raw, and I do think eventually he will get the W or the World Heavyweight Championship. But I think he'll lose tonight. He'll lose that night. I think Seth Rollins, some foolishness, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed will come out, and I think this is when Ethan Page will come out because they've been talking about this Plan B, Plan B, Plan B. I think Ethan Page joins up with Seth Rollins in there, and I think he takes out LA Knight and Seth Rollins win, and maybe we get a feud between LA Knight and Ethan Page. And then this terrible main event. Goldberg versus Gunther. Now, if you haven't listened to this podcast, you know I express how much I hate this match. I hate the fact that they took the belt off of Jay Uso just for them to have this match. You didn't have to take the belt off of him. You could have just had Gunther versus Goldberg in a retirement match, but you had to put the belt on the line for old man Goldberg, my man limping down the ramp. I don't know how this match is gonna look, and hopefully Gunther can carry this man through this match to the finish line. But Gunther should win this match pretty handily. All right, now let's go to AEW. Also that night, AEW's biggest card, All In, is happening. I think this is going to be a very good card. You got Adam Cole versus Kyle Fletcher for the TNT Championship. I actually wouldn't be surprised if Kyle Fletcher wins this match. They've been pushing Kyle Fletcher to be that new young up and coming star, and I wouldn't be surprised if Kyle Fletcher gets the dub here. And then you got Okada versus Kenny Omega. I think this is going to be probably the match of the night because these two, when they get together, they've had a long-standing feud from the New Japan days, and I expect them to put on the show. Winner takes all. They're both putting their belts on the line to unify it. I kind of want Okada to win, but I have a feeling that Kenny Omega is going to win this match. Then you have the Casino Battle Royale Gauntlet. I think MJF is going to win this match. I just think that he should win. He deserves to win. So I think MJF wins that match. Then you have the Tag Team World Champions, Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley. They're going against Christian and Nick. I think his name Nick Wayne and Speedball Mike and I forgot the other dude's name. I think the Hurt Business will win this match. I think they walk out as tag team champions. But if I were to pick somebody else, it'd be Christian and Nick Wayne. Then you have the Young Bucks versus Swerve and Will Ospreay. I think this could be a really good match. I personally think Will Ospreay is going to turn, or I think I would, because this is a match where if the Young Bucks lose, they lose their EVP titles, so they will no longer be the bosses. But if Swerve and Will Ospreay lose, they can't have another title match for a whole year. And I think Swerve and Will Ospreay lose the match. The women's Casino Gauntlet, honestly, I don't know who's going to win that match. That can go to anybody. I could see Willow winning the match. I could see Cris Style Mal winning the match. So, honestly, I do not know who's going to win that match. And then you have Toni Storm versus Mercedes Moné. Tony's had the belt for a while. Mercedes Moné is the TNT champion or TBS champion, but she also has like 4 other belts from different different wrestling organizations. And I don't know if they're gonna give her this belt. I think they are. I think they're gonna make her 7 belt Mercedes. And I wouldn't be surprised if Mercedes win this match, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Tony wins either. And then we got Adam Page versus John Moxley in the Texas Death Match. I want Adam Page to win this match because I want them to finalize this and let Adam Page get the belt back. We haven't seen the belt since John Moxley's been champion because he got the damn belt in the damn briefcase. So I hope Adam Page win this match, but I have a strange suspicion that I think Will Ospreay is going to turn on Adam Page and cost him the match, and he's going to join up with the Young Bucks to be part of the elite. So I could see him turning, and especially since he lost, and he won't be able to challenge for a belt for a whole year. So I think he's going to cost Adam Page the match because he feels salty about being able to get a world title shot. So I think John Moxley will keep the belt, and they're gonna have Darby Allen beat him, which I hate that so much, but whatever. And then last but not least, we have Evolution. Where's it? You have Evolution 2.0. Now, I talked about this on Monday on how I feel bad for these women because they up against, this weekend, they're up against the Beyonce concert that's going to be happening across the street from them. And, these matches was just kind of thrown together. So, whatever. But Jade Cargill versus Naomi in a no holds bar match. I think that's going to be a great match. I wouldn't be surprised if Bianca Belair gets involved in this some way, somehow. I don't know who's going to win this match. I think Naomi's going to win because she's the Money in the Bank, but uh, they trying to push Jade Cargill, and I think Jade will face Tiffany at SummerSlam because she is the Queen of the Ring. So I think it's gonna be. I don't know who's gonna win this match because it's a no hold bar match, so anything goes. I wouldn't be surprised if Bianca Belair comes out. Maybe she causes Naomi the match. I don't know, but that can happen. Then you have the tag team match with Charlotte, Alexa versus Kabuki Warriors versus Roxanne and Raquel, who are the tag team champions now, uh, and Ruka and Zarya. Um, honestly, I don't know. I think Raquel and Roxanne will keep the belt because they want to keep the stick of Liv is out. She ended up getting injured, and I think Roxanne is going to slowly and surely start taking over the Judgment Day. So they got to keep the belts on them to keep that up. So I think that Roxanne and Raquel will end up walking out as champions. I think what could be the match of the night. Well, first is the JC Jane versus Jordan Grace for the NXT Women's Championship. I think they've been trying to get this belt off of JC Jane since he won it. I think Jordan Grace ends up winning it and becoming your new women's NXT champion. And then Laura, Becky, Bailey. This could be match of the night. I think Bailey wins this match. I think she ends up winning and end up being the IC champion. And then maybe SummerSlam will get a solo match with one of the two. Maybe it's her versus Laura or her versus Becky. But I think Bailey ends up walking out as the IC champion. Io Sky, or let's do Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus. Tiffany's gonna win this match. They just threw this match together. I got Tiffany Stratton win that match. And then Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley. We all know that Rhea and Bianca probably had the best match of that weekend. Um, I don't know what they're gonna do in this match. I wouldn't be surprised if they let Rhea win this match, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they let Io keep this belt. But I don't know. Io hasn't wrestled since WrestleMania, so I don't know. They've been trying to find ways to get Rhea in this match, so she probably could win it. So I wouldn't be surprised if Rhea ends up winning this match. So, and that does it for my wrestling preview for the weekend.
So
it's gonna be wrestling overload for all my wrestling fans out there. All right, man. You got anything else?
Do I got anything else?
What's your thoughts on all these NBA signings today? Chad Holmgren, Dave Book.
It's par for the course. Like a lot of these are signings that you kind of expect. Obviously, with the Thunder, you signed the SGA, you signed Chad, you're gonna sign J Dub. D-Book, he's gonna get the re-up. Obviously, I saw reports saying that him and the owner met out here in Vegas because Summer League starts tomorrow. So they were able to finish that. So I'm not surprised. It's due for the course. Yeah, Summer League's tomorrow. I'm excited to that. We get to see Cooper Flag, see all these young talented guys. Mavericks play Lakers tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. I think the Clips album comes out this week too, right? Clips album comes out this week, so definitely looking forward to that. We'll have our thoughts about that on Monday. Besides that, man, I honestly, I don't really got anything else, man. What about you?
No, ain't got nothing. All right, good people. If you look at the screen, you'll see the QR code for our WWE shop. Like I said, there's big wrestling this weekend. So if you want to get y'all merch, get ready for the big wrestling weekend, especially for WWE. You get all your favorite superstars merch from Seth freaking Rollins, Roman Reigns, LA Knight, Jey Uso, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, whoever's your cup of tea. You can go scan this QR code, go through our WWE shop, and get all your merch, man. If you want to donate to the Cris Style Mal podcast, you can donate to our Cash App, Cris Mal Podcast. We will appreciate whatever you want to donate to us. Whatever streaming platform you use to listen to your podcast on, the Cris Style Mal podcast is available on Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio. Whatever you listen to it, go to those platforms. If you're a first time watcher on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, that like button, that notification button. So when we go live on Mondays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 9-ish p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Wednesdays, you can jump in the live. You can give us your opinion on the topics, how you feel. Do you like our top 10 fantasy football tight ends? How do you feel about, our surefire picks? Boxing, how do you feel? Who you picking? Are you excited for the wrestling weekend? College football. Maybe you like college football. Maybe you like the high school segment. I'd say you on drugs, but still, you might like the high school segment. You know what I'm saying? But give us your thoughts. And then you're listening on the playback, put your thoughts in the comments section. If you agree with us or disagree with us, just talk to us nice. Don't be coming at us crazy. They're just opinions, okay? But subscribe to the channel. And whatever social media platform you use, whether it be X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, Twitch, whatever you use to do your social media on, the Cris Style Mal podcast is available at Cris Style and Mal. You can follow us. We'll follow you back because we are just some regular guys who like to talk sports and music and movies and all kinds of various other things. So go ahead and tap in with us. Follow us. If you have critiques, feedback, or if you have a question or topic that you want us to bring up on the show and we like said topic or question, we'll bring it up. We'll shout you out because we want to show love to those who show love to us. So go ahead and hit us up via DM, email, or our mentions. All right, good people. Hope you guys, have a good rest of your night wherever you're at. And I hope you have a good rest of your week. Be safe out there. Like I said, this will be a good, exciting week for sports, boxing and wrestling. Baseball still going on. We got WNBA still going on. Football season's almost here, good people. 2 weeks. We got 2 weeks for training camp. So it's almost here. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry. It's almost here. But hope you guys have a good rest of your week. And we will be back on Monday to give you all the hottest topics from the weekend. So until then, we out.